So I moved the car. Hopefully everybody's still hanging around and can come back. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Nobody's here. If you're here, if you can give me a hello, let me know you're around. Excellent. So we got a little crowd gathering. This is the toils of using like public Wi-Fi. And like even if you can afford a bunch of the toys, like you just end up having to like deal with public Wi-Fi at some point. Because even with hotspots, they're through cell phone providers. So if there's a limitation on your cell phone provider, at some point you're gonna be looking for a hotspot. And like unless you got a bunch of stacks, like keeping an unlimited connection while living in a vehicle is just it's kind of tough. But I'm determined to make live streaming happen. So I'm here, and thank you for everyone who's come back. So let's see. There's like 3 people on. I wanted to let everybody know that I did get an Instagram because I'm sick of people asking me if I have an Instagram and me being like, but the thing was, I didn't want to start an Instagram without a reason to create something that was going to have its own value. Like, there's a lot of people who just get all the social medias just to like feed the same beast. And it's like, if I'm going to do something separate that's going to take time, I want to make sure that the time I'm spending on this separate thing is actually providing a separate experience for me as well as the user. And so, like, I've been playing around with Instagram. I started it a while ago. I also wanted to see how many people would find it without me going on YouTube and advertising the fact that I had an Instagram. So I have an Instagram, and it is actually, let me type it down. It's Dawn of Wanderlust. Dawn of Wander. And the reason why is Dawn of Van Life was not available. Somebody has it. Like, I couldn't find an active account with it, but apparently I was rejected in trying to use that name. And so, hi, Gus, and James, and Estella, and JoJo, and James. And is that Ratia? Did I pronounce that correctly? And Judith and Miss Style. Have I said hi to everybody? I think so. So yeah, I have an Instagram. It's at Dawn of Wanderlust. I'm still playing around with how to. Oh, it's just pronounced Rita. Okay, it's just a different spelling. Oh, that actually makes sense looking at it. Okay, I just wanted to make it something it wasn't. Sorry. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure if I was going to do an Instagram that it was doing something different than anything else I was doing. I also have added some more little articles to the Dawn of Van Life website. And what I'm realizing is I really like using that as a response thing. Like, there was this video by Justin Credible, and it was about not hiding. That I thought was really interesting. And so I ended up doing like a whole like written thing about how I felt about that video. And I like it as sort of a way for me to give these expanded responses to things. That's not me making like a YouTube video. So I have been actively trying to blog on Dawn of Van Life. And like I said, I didn't want the dawnofvanlife.com website to just be a repeat of YouTube or talking about my YouTube videos. Like, there's a link to YouTube, and if you want to know what I'm doing on YouTube, you can jump on YouTube. And Instagram is more for that instant feed. So like I said, if you go to Dawn of Wanderlust on Instagram, then you'll be able to find my Instagram. I've been having a lot of fun playing with it, but as I want these things, words, I so suck. As I want these to say fun things and not these obsessive things where I'm like, oh my god, I need like everybody to care about me in my life. You all have lives, I'm sure. I wanted to make sure it was doing something different for me, as social media than just like recycling what I'm already doing on YouTube or recycling what I'm trying to do with the Donna Van Life website. So yeah. James, it was a great video. Like, there was so much you said in there that was true. And what I've been doing lately is when I cook in the van, I used to like try to like bend my Reflectix just a little bit so nobody would know what I was in here doing. But the thing is, like, if I used my frying pan, there was a little bit of smoke anyway. So it's like, forget this. And I just like pulled all of the Reflectix out and I rolled down the window. And honestly, like, nobody cared. There were a couple people who looked and they were like, and then like nobody really cared. And then the other day, I had to be out to San Jose and I didn't quite make it there, honestly. I made it from about Berkeley to Hayward. And I was like, I can get enough sleep. Oh yes, please thumbs up the video. Usually if you click out of the chat, usually your chat window has like a little X or something. You click out the chat, you throw the thumbs up, and then you can come back into the chat window. Gus, I've done so many Starbucks and McDonald's uploads. McDonald's has pretty decent Wi-Fi. But anyway, completely distracted. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. It's gone because I was like saw Gus's comment. Oh, and in the other video, I was talking about my goals to drive up the coast. I don't know how many people like in this thread are like fans of some of our Canadian van dwellers, but like also a big goal in addition to just wanting to go up north in California, go past California, look at I wanted to go over to Nevada, and then I want to go up into Washington and Oregon at the very least, but I also would like to go ahead and cross the border into Canada. I don't have my passport yet. I'm waiting on it, but like one of my goals once I'm glad you found it, Wanda. One of my big goals is to also cross the border into Canada, and like, well, I don't know, Chrome like is like going out into the backwoods now, like breaking maple syrup all over his van, so like he might not be there when I get there. I can at least find Gus. But yeah, I'd definitely like to try to drive up into Canada and, cross the border that way. And yeah. Oh, excellent. So yeah, I have a goal to like get on up there. Yeah. Chrome is hilarious, but like I was feeling his pain on that maple syrup all over his van thing. So yeah, I can't go anywhere past the border until I get my passport. I already put in the application. I'm honestly just waiting for it to show up. Also the top dresser, James, like if he had it in the bottom, it at least wouldn't have leaked through like all of that stuff. Hello to everybody who's joined the chat. If you haven't gotten a chance to give this a like, well, if you want to give it a like, feel free to click on out of the video, not the video, click out of the chat, stay in the video, click out of the chat for a second, give it a thumbs up, and jump on back into the conversation. I'm happy to see people jumping on. I used to have this fear that if I did a live, I'd just be sitting here talking to myself and nobody would show up. So does anybody have any like questions for me? I know a lot of people have asked if I'm still in LA. I am not in LA. I am back in Berkeley, trying to make some money, really trying to build up my savings, because the next time I go out on a trip, I want to know that I have a good security blanket, to just enjoy myself. I just don't want to have that feeling of like running out of money and being so thin on money, like I'm in a panic attack that if anything happens, I can't take care of it. And I've been able to take care of it, but I've had to run back to where I know I have enough connections to like immediately get back to work. And I'd like to actually be able to take some time off. So that's what I'm working towards right now. So the van is in a good place, except I need to get some brakes done. The brakes are not like they're horrible, but like he says, they're getting to the point where I need to make it a concern. He's like, if you don't take care of it like this day while you're standing here with me, it's not the end of your life. You're not gonna like go spinning off the road, but he's like, make it a priority for your next big car thing, and like that's the big thing I need to take care of. I have heard of Carolyn's RV life. I haven't tracked her. Are you talking about in Berkeley? I mean, technically they said they weren't going to enforce the RV ban. Again, technically they said they weren't going to enforce the RV ban until they had a permit system in place. And they were going to prioritize what they call vulnerable populations, and there was this whole debate about things. It's supposed to be people who work in Berkeley, people who have children going to schools, etc., etc. And so what has been happening is I've seen a lot of little red notices on some RVs, and it's about the 72-hour parking thing. And so my whole thing with Berkeley right now is I feel like they just want to get rid of the RVs. And rather that RV is parked for 24 hours or actually has been 72 hours or has been there a week, I think people who want to get rid of them are now just reporting it as a parking thing. And it's actually happened to a friend of mine who had a camper van. So yeah, that's where that is right now. I personally have felt no effect. I also like move all the time. Like I don't stay in one place. I don't go back to the same place. And also like it's a minivan. Like in the middle of the night. Like honestly, I'm not even gonna say because it's a minivan. In the middle of the night, if you just drive up someplace, park, go to sleep, and then you get up in the morning and leave, like most people just they have more to do in their life than care about that. They start getting concerned when they never see the vehicle move, they never see anybody come out of it, like things that make them bothered. And there's some people who are just jerks, to be honest. They're like, I don't like the look of that vehicle. It's not cool. It's not new. It's not trendy. I'm going to call the cops on it and try to get rid of it. And that's actually what happened to a friend of mine who's trying to build out a camper van. Is she got an older van to like renovate, and she actually is a rent paying Berkeley citizen, like, in a piece of property, and she parked the van out front, and somebody reported it, and it's been towed once, and then she had to get it back, and then it was parked for less than 24 hours, and somebody reported it as being parked for 72 hours, and she got a little red ticket on it that said, the parking law is this, and this thing needs to move. And I think it's somebody who just doesn't like how it looks, because it's like an older, like, camper van, and the inside is really good, so it's kind of annoying. Maxine, yes, I want to do work on the inside. I haven't done anything significant. I changed some things around, but that's just me like playing with space. I got rid of actually about half of my clothes. Like all of my clothes now fit into one bin, and that's because I'd rather have the space. If I have to do laundry every week, I'm okay with that. Before I can think about what I want to do with it, there's two tools I want to buy. I want to buy a jigsaw and I want to buy a drill, neither of which I own. And I was looking into renting them. I was looking into borrowing them, and nothing was working out. And so I want to buy those two tools, and I can build in the Home Depot parking lot. The wood doesn't cost that much, but I want to own those two tools so that I can actually do what's in my head, which I haven't been able to do, because the first step is I need to own the tools. And yeah, that's been the biggest challenge with actually doing a build out the way I would like to do it. Raiden and Ruben, I assume you're responding to like what's happening to my friend with her camper getting like targeted, and since she's not living out of it, like just parking it somewhere else isn't the most efficient option. Luckily, she has a friend who has like property, and she's like, I'm just sick of being stressed out, and she's gonna go park it like out on their property. But it's not fair, honestly. She's a rent paying citizen. Should be able to park a van she owns in her block. Yeah, but I heard like that's being contested. It sounds like there's like a really like contentious situation in San Diego right now. Like the law where they were trying to get rid of the van dwellers got overturned. But yeah, I don't know. I want to go back to San Diego, so I hope like I can get down there and not have too much trouble. And I'd like to be like in a place where, you know, I'm like, oh, you're a van dweller, and feel like I can have that open conversation. And so far, I've only really felt that at RTR. And you know, I have to work and make money, and my career is better built in California than anywhere else because I want to work in event management, stage management, and backstage in the theater. And like, I don't want to go to New York, which would be my other option. And so, like, when I'm in Berkeley, I have to think about the most efficient way to keep my peace. And so, like, being all like too loud and I'm proud in my van, in with the intention of attracting attention, would just be troublesome to my goals of saving money so I can travel and do the things I want to do. So it's a little bit like difficult to try to seek areas where there are other vehicle dwellers. And that's the thing. Like, I just want to be able to like be around other people who are sort of living the same lifestyle. And when you're complaining about something in van life, whoop-de-doo, like everybody complain. Like, people in houses complain about stuff in their houses. Like, oh, my house is like big and drafty, and because it was built in, you know, whatever year, it's really hard to keep it cool. And it doesn't mean they don't want to live in a house. It means they're having a bad day or a difficult situation in what they choose to live in. And the problem is, as soon as people find out about my situation, then it's like this pity reaction. So it'd be nice to know like more van dwellers where we can have those conversations. And if I'm having a problem with something, it isn't immediately turned into van life sucks and, you know, you need to find a way out of it. Because like most of the time, like I am fine. I'm like completely relaxed, you know. That's a good thought, James. I don't actually run across that many pawn shops by accident, though. Maybe I'm just not looking for them. It'd be nice if there was more slab cities. I mean, like, I think it's less van dwellers. It's more RV dwellers. Like, RV dwellers are the ones that are getting targeted because they're so obvious. And, like, older vans where people were like, there, it just might be a camper. Because the thing about conversion vans is they look like Class Bs. And technically, Class Bs and conversion vans are two different things. But on the outside, they look alike. And a lot of people get conversion vans and turn them into campers, but they don't have all the innards of an RV. To be a Class B, it has to be pretty much a micro RV. That's what a Class B is. It's a micro RV inside of a van body. Which is why if you build out your van with all the things that qualify it as RV, you can then go to the DMV and be like, this is an RV. It's not, you know, a commercial truck anymore or a commercial van or whatever it was before, and they'll change its designations. So yeah, it's a really complicated issues, but I say vans, you can slip through the cracks a little better. The RVs are the one that are having the big problems. Gus, they don't bother you because they're like, you're just like, you're not a problem. James, yes, I do work with Rhino. In fact, that's why I have to go to San Jose tonight after this live stream. Hey, Grandma Debbie. Who are you talking to driving home? The workouts have been going really good. Also, like, I have not been near candy. I've had a couple of pieces of cake that I regretted, but I've been doing really good with that. I've been eating more like raw vegetables. Also, like, I've been trying to think of ways not to cook because the cooking is discouraging because it takes so many steps and I'm in a van. But I actually like salad, so should I paint stealth on the side of my bus, Gus? Yeah, Gus, I feel the same way. And I think the thing is, even if you have a big bus like Gus, which isn't that big, but it's bigger than like your standard city vehicle, if it's there for a day, like people just don't care. Like most of the time. Like I'm not gonna say there are no jerks. There are jerks in life, but most people don't care. Well, the funny thing is, like the other day, I was like in a parking lot, and I just honestly pulled up into a random parking lot because I was like, I'm not gonna make this whole drive in one day. It wasn't that long a drive. I was just tired. And then I woke up in the morning and honestly, I just opened up the side of my van because the parking lot was almost like abandoned anyway. Like it was about 5 in the morning. So some things were open, but not everything in the shopping center was open. And security drove right past me, paused for like 2 seconds, and then kept driving. And I was panicked for a second. I thought like he was gonna say something or do something. But I think it was early in the morning for him and he just didn't want to deal with it. And that's like the second time I've had like an encounter where I was ignored. One time I was sitting in my van, making some food, and literally an actual cop pulled up next to me, and she looked over at me, and she was on her break because she was pulling her lunch out of her bag, and she looked at me for about 5 seconds, and then she went back and she started eating her food, and she never said nothing to me, and she like pulled out. So I think like as long as like the people who own like the parking lots or the stores aren't complaining and they haven't seen you, like cops really don't want to add that to their agenda, you know? They're like, forget it. Like, if nobody else is saying nothing and she's kind of out of the way right now, I don't care. No, if I pull up into like the front of like Neiman Marcus and like open my side door and start cooking, like I'm sure somebody will say something. But I was like off in like it was like a huge shopping center and I was off on some abandoned corner. And I think he stopped for some 5 seconds and just was like, I don't care, and then just kept driving. So that was funny. I'm trying to catch up to what people have reading. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure because raw veggies. There are veggies I like so like if as long as I have them in the van, it takes about 2 seconds to like pull them out and eat them, and I don't have to actually like turn on my cooking stove and like cook anything. Yeah, I know there's a rhino in Vegas. I've actually been thinking a lot about Vegas because there is work there that pays really well. So like it's on my like would I want to make the jump list? I don't think I want to right now because I really want to work on like building up some connections here and they're building, so I don't want to jump too far. And I talked to my home office about like reaching out to other offices and I got conflicting information and I just don't want to it's such a dependable workflow as far as money. I don't want to shake it up for lack of shaking up cuz one answer I got was, yeah, it's totally fine. Guys do it all the time. And then somebody else in the office was like, but it's not like you can just be like, oh, giving your name out to all the rhino offices. Like, we don't work that way. So I got conflicting information. Maybe I shouldn't have told him about it and just like reached out to a bunch of rhino offices elsewhere. But I was dumb and I told them what I was thinking about doing. Rhino also has like a Southern California office. I think there's an office called like Northwest or something like that, which I think is the Washington and Portland area. So they have a few offices that I thought about reaching out to. They have an office in Texas, which I think it would be cool to work there. And also somebody told me about VTS, which is a company, a stagehand company in LA. And since it's a separate company, I thought about reaching out to them too and just sending them my resume or applying or however it works. So I go to the park when I can, but like, you know, like sometimes it's like between where I was the night before, like tonight I'm in Berkeley and tomorrow I need to be in San Jose. I'll probably make me like a late dinner. And so like it's easier to just stop in a shopping center and go to an abandoned corner and cook than add an additional stop to my route because I'll cook in the shopping center, I'll eat my food, I'll chill out for a little bit, and then I'll finish the trip to my work area and then I'll find a sleeping spot there. When I can go to the park and cook, it's great. In fact, I did it a couple of days ago because I am so near Tilden Park, which is what is Tilden Regional Park is one of my favorite places now because you really feel like it's so close to Berkeley, like it's ridiculously close to Berkeley, and it's gorgeous out there, and you feel like you're in a legit like campsite area when you're out there, and you're really just in a regional park that's just outside of Berkeley, or in Berkeley, actually. I think it's officially in Berkeley. And it's great and it's beautiful and they have wonderful trails. I mean, the trails will kill you, but I like that better than a treadmill. Treadmills are boring. Like, I don't know why people keep trying to sell me on how awesome the gym is. Like, treadmills are boring. It's like when you walk a trail, it's like, it's beautiful. Well, the point is to get out the van, right? James, you're not supposed to stay in the van. I've had a couple of days like that in LA and Berkeley. The whole time I was in San Diego, it rained. I still haven't gotten back to San Diego and it wasn't raining. But yeah, it's just too hot to stay in the van. And usually that's also a good day. Like if you want to be in, that's a good coffee shop day. Because you go to the coffee shop, you catch up on some work, and you get to be inside, and you buy I will buy a cup of hot tea, which is usually the cheapest thing on the menu, and sip on it all day. It won't be hot by the end of the day. And sometimes I just leave the cup sitting there, and nobody knows how long I've been sitting there. I mean, the thing is, Zaida, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Zeta? I'm going to go with that. If I'm saying it wrong, go ahead and give me a phonetic correction. But the thing about, there may be a park, there may not be a park. If it's not a park along the route, or it's not convenient, or it's getting dark, then a park's not an option. When a park's an option, I use it. I just don't make it my permanent and only option. I think the most important thing in van life is to be flexible. Like, because things are going to change on you all the time. Like, even if I go out to a campsite, if it starts raining, I need to be able to adapt and cook in my van. Like when I can get out and cook, it's great. Honestly, because when you cook in a van, like the whole van smells like whatever the heck you cooked. So if you can like get out of the van and cook, I prefer it. But when you can't, I just adapt to whatever the situation is, because my priority points are where I'm coming from and where I'm going to, and when I need to be at where I'm going to. And if a park doesn't work in the middle of that, I don't force it to work, I guess. I find another option. I do work for Uber Eats. I haven't done it recently because honestly, I'm trying to focus on work that doesn't add miles to my car. In addition to that, I've always said that like my primary work is to get into events and theater, like backstage events and theater management and event management are what I want to do for a career. Uber Eats is what I do when I have absolutely no other jobs that I can use to make money. So then I'll go to Uber Eats, or I'll do a Blue Crew, or I'll do Winolo, and I like to jump apps. Because number one, that makes the apps want to get you back. Like when you stop driving or working for an app for a while, they're like, hey, we miss you. And then they'll really, really try to get you to come back and start doing it again. But I'm really trying to avoid adding miles. That's why I don't like doing delivery jobs as much anymore. I don't want to add a lot of miles to my car for delivery jobs. I'd honestly rather do stuff that gets me out the car. And also when I drive for Uber Eats, it's like my whole day is in the car. Because I get up in the morning, and then like I turn on the app, and then I'm driving all day, and it's like it's harder to like get out the car and like do something. Because like the other day I worked for a couple days ago, I didn't have any stagehand gigs, and I went from nothing lined up to like a week of work, which happens because all of a sudden a bunch of people offering you stuff. But I didn't have anything. I went on the Winolo app and I got a job at Sports Basement, and it was like a merchandising thing, but the people were really cool, and I got to hang out in a new place all day. I was out of the van, I was stretching my legs, I was interacting with people, and then I got to come home to my van. And it's nice to be able to leave home and then like come back to it, even if it's your van. And when you do Uber Eats, or when I do DoorDash or any sort of delivery sort of situation like Amazon Flex, I actually do Amazon Flex and Uber Eats the most. But it's a day where you don't really leave the van, and I like reasons to get out of the van. And also right now I've been doing really good getting like, I have a stage management job coming up. I've been doing a bunch of stagehand work, and I just got finished an event management gig today. It was a 1-day gig for a string quartet. If you go to my new Instagram at Dawn of Wanderlust, I actually posted a picture from that today. Yeah, walking around casinos would be smart. Like, but I think like that's just the thing. Like, if your van's too hot, go find some place to go that's cool. And like, even if you go to a mall, like you don't have to buy anything. And it's hard, but like, just go to the mall and walk around. Like, if you don't want to be outside because it's too hot, if you don't want to be in your van because it's too hot, then just go find something to do. And I think like that's the most important thing. Um, Yes, I would love to hit 1,000 subs because then I can add ads and I can have a little. Like, I in no way think I'm ever going to live off of YouTube. I don't see myself just doing that. Like, I have career goals outside of YouTube, but it would be great to hit 1,000 subs and like be able to add ads and get a little bit of like extra money. And it would just be a great accomplishment to say, like, I started something to share a part of my life. And at the time I started YouTube, like, it was not about becoming like the next big van life channel, the next big black woman doing van life. It was none of that. It was because I saw these negative stereotypes about people who live in cities in vans. And poor people specifically, people who don't have pimped out like Sprinter van rigs, who live in vans and stay in cities. And the stereotype is that those kind of people are your squatters who are like in this beat up vehicle and they're like the dregs of life. And the thing is, lots of people fall on hard times and find themselves in situations that they never thought they'd be in. And I was put in the position of being desperate in a car and not feeling functional. But then I went ahead and changed the theme of my channel because I realized I was empowering myself. Like, I housed myself when I was in my car. And I went from a person who was struggling and just didn't feel like they could take care of themselves to saying, you know what, there's a million problems in the world and I need to have it fix my own. And so I made myself functional in that car. And then I was like, why do I need to go back to paying rent? And so like the whole theme of my channel changed at that point because it was less about being a working homeless person, because I didn't feel like a homeless person anymore. And that was sort of my complication when I went to the whole like Berkeley RV debate, is because as much sympathy as I have for the RVers, I didn't like being put in this like, let's try to make them feel sorry for us so they won't let access to leave by talking about don't harass or beat up the quote unquote homeless people in their RVs. And I didn't feel homeless in my vehicle. Like, I had chosen to find a way to trade up my car for a van. I had done it. I turned that van into a functional home for myself. Is it my dream home? Is it my end game home? No, but I had made a decision and I did not feel homeless anymore. So that was the hardest part of the discussion, because I wanted to have sympathy for everyone. I saw some of the ridiculous points being made by the other side trying to like downgrade the RV dwellers, but at the same time I didn't want to jump into the boat with the RV dwellers who were playing the homeless pity me card, because that also pulled me down in my soul and I wouldn't take that on. So yeah, but that being said, I would love to hit, having gone on that journey, I would love to hit 100K, 100,000 subs. It would be great. It would be a super accomplishment. But like, getting 800 was an accomplishment. Getting 100 was an accomplishment. And like, it all means a lot to me. I had a Kia when I was in DC. I had a Kia Sportage. And I love that thing, but I ran that thing to the ground, I swear. Welcome to the channel. Okay, I'll put it in there again. I think I did it earlier, but I don't think as many people were on there. Just to reiterate, I'm typing it in right now. Dawn of Wanderlust is my Instagram channel. It's because Dawn of Van Life was already taken. And so I really racked around in my brain for what I wanted to do. And I really want my Instagram to be about things that my traveling. And it may be traveling for a job, or it may be traveling for fun. And so, like, I want the Instagram to be about quickly captured moments when I'm traveling. And I also want it to be more in the moment. Like with YouTube, I like to edit videos. I like to add music in it. I like to have fun with it. So I don't want to turn out a video really fast just to turn out a video really fast if I don't have the time to work on it. Also, Gus, I also have upload fails all the time. Using public Wi-Fi, it's really hard because sometimes it can't handle YouTube. And my hotspot, it burned out on me, and I've decided I'm done with hotspots. I have wasted enough money trying to get a hotspot situation that works for me to have bought my tools at this point. And so I want to focus on buying my tools first. I'm going to upgrade my cell phone plan so that I have a little bit more data to play with without trying to find public Wi-Fi. But like I'm done playing with those hotspot, the actual like hotspot modem, the independent modems. Like I'm done with them. Like they've just been failing me. There's either not enough data for adding another bill to my life, or yeah, I'm just done with them. I'm glad you like that, Beverly. I really wanted to do that video on work apps, and for me, like I use them as Band-Aid apps, but also like I think you can use a lot of those. Like Meek from a guy in his van, like he uses Winolo a lot, and he basically uses it to get enough work to get financially where he wants to be, and then he goes off and he does what he wants to do. So I'm really glad that people are getting like information out of that app, and it was really cool to have Winolo like reach out to me too. I didn't expect that. Does anybody else need me to type in my Instagram, or can people find it in the thread? Gus, good luck on your upload. I've had those days. I mean, like seriously, I've driven to like 4 different stores sometimes, and it like took me all day to get a video uploaded, and it would like annoy me because it was edited, and I just wanted it on YouTube. It sucks, man. Yeah, I had to drive like closer to I'm at a McDonald's, guys. So I had to drive. I'm actually in a handicapped spot, but if anybody walks up to me, I can move. Like I would never park in a handicapped spot and walk away, but there's like 2 of them, and one of them is closer to the McDonald's. So I got in the handicapped spot. I was trying to be beside the building, and that's when the whole live failed. So this one's going well, which makes me happy, which makes me feel good about moving forward with lives. I'm glad I'm still streaming too. Well, I was trying to not get on Insta, but like I also I ran into a really awesome guy, and he was on Instagram, and he wanted us to trade Instagrams, and he was a van lifer, and he had this awesome van like right beside me in the 7-Eleven parking lot, and I was just staring at it, and then he came out, and I was like, "Is that your van?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "That is an awesome man." And then we had this awesome conversation, and it was great, but he was like on Instagram and I wasn't. So yeah, I'll check out Maddie Van Halen. I'll put that on my list. Yeah, lives are fun. I like seeing like people show up. I mean, I'm like really surprised. Like people, that's always been my fear, that I will go live and nobody will be here. And I'm like so glad you guys like my channel. I haven't had as much time to watch other people's channels as I want to. I've been trying to like dip back into people's channels occasionally. There's some people I feel bad I haven't watched a video of theirs in a while. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Like I'm really into work mode right now. I'm really like motivated to like get some money built up, because I see like people like going off and doing trips, and I just want to go be able to do a trip very relaxed and not worrying about money. And if something happens, feeling like I can handle it. And so I want the van to be in a good place. I want to be financially in a good place and know, like, when I hit the road, I can just go away for an amount of time and not feel like the whole like financial situation is going to crumble. And I think like that's an important part of feeling empowered and houseless and not homeless, because when you do feel, the more tied you feel to an area, yeah, you do. Well, I mean, obviously, can I grab where's my teacup? I guess it's in the back. Everybody knows I'm a Van City Van Life fan. Who else do I watch regularly? I definitely watch Element Van Life. I've been trying to catch up with Gus's videos. I've been trying to catch up with Carly's videos. I watch some RV channels actually, just because I like the people in them. There's a schoolie channel. God, what are their names? I know I'm like a fan, but they have like this beautiful schoolie, and their name is gone now. God, there's like I'd have to like pull up my own like YouTube list to see who's on it. There's some YouTubers I'm sad don't really post too much anymore. I've mentioned Meek because I watch his channel. Let's see here. I watched Casey Roman, the Babe Bus. If you have not seen the Babe Bus, okay, Gus. Oh, thank you, Mitz Adventures. Yeah. I'm good to know I have an artistic spirit. Blue, blue, blue. I'm a big fan of Timothy Ward. I don't know how many people watch him, but it's because like he did nomadic life without a van. He tried an RV and it didn't work, and so he just does it through like seasonal jobs. And because he doesn't own like anything that costs money, including a car, like he can either travel or like stay in hotels and afford it between jobs. But like he's done nomad life without a van, without an RV. Like he's just like, he's like a really cool dude. And if he can do like nomadic life that way, like you can define your own nomadic life. Like everybody thinks like, oh, I like this one van life, or I need to do van life the way they do it, and I need to copy everything they do. And you don't have to. Like Timothy Ward, he's a non-vehicle nomad. I think that's really cool. But getting back to Casey Roman and the Babe Bus, because I have to agree with Gus's comment. She's crazy in a wonderful way. I freaking love her. Yeah, so Carly's doing a camp host job. The reason I would do it, the only reason I'm not doing it is because I actually, like, I think Carly's goal is to, like, the camp host job is for her just a way to make money. She really is focusing on building her social media profile, her website, being a YouTuber, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Carly's amazing, and she's obviously legit and out there doing it. But for me, like, I actually want to be a stage manager. That is my career path. And so, like, anything else I do on top of that, I do as a complement to continuing that. And camp hosting, it would be like, oh, let me do this thing for a vacation. And right now, I just don't want to break moving towards my career goals, while still to travel and like do fun stuff in between. Of course, because we driving home, similar spirits are like attracted to each other. If I've read some more of my list, you probably be like them too. There's also some people I've like unsubscribed to, either because like, one, they're too negative, so I just stopped watching them because I can't deal with people who are like just too like negative. Like I have a video where I was like, Van life sucked this week, but that was like a real moment. It's like, you know, if you spill something in your van or your van breaks down, like you're going to have bad moments. You're going to have bad moments in a house. You're going to have bad moments in apartments. You're going to have bad moments in whatever you live in. But when all you are having is a constant stream of bad, like it's bringing me down and I can't be in that anymore. So, yeah. I would love to get a larger van, Dylan. I mean, but I guess you'd have to define larger. Like, I would love a passenger van, possibly like with a pop top. Now that I've seen Native Element Van Life, now that I've seen his van, I wasn't honestly that impressed with the pop tops on the GTRV website. Now that I've seen him use it, I like it a lot more. So I would love to get a van a newer van. I agree with all the people who said it would kind of be a waste of money to put it on this van because of its age and its mileage. It's actually true. So if I reached a point where I could afford a new van and a pop top, I would love that. Not. I don't know that I want the van that Nate has, but like you can take a standard cargo van and put a pop top on it, and I like it. Like I like that. If my lifestyle changed where I wouldn't consider a high top vehicle a detriment to parking, because right now I have to park in cities and like, excuse me, I'm having an allergy issue. I'm going to go away for a second. All right, that's totally gross, man. Now I have to do this. This is an essential in van life nobody talks about, like hand sanitizer. Like I have this all over the van because you don't really I don't really have a sink, and even if you have a sink, like you're conserving water all the time. So the good thing about hand sanitizer is like you can just use it real quick. But yeah, right now my biggest issue is sometimes I need to park in parking garages. So I would like something that I know could go in more parking garages than not, and even just adding a cargo carrier has complicated parking garages a bit. So I'm not looking to get like a standing height Sprinter or anything in that sort of class style of vehicle, and we already know what they are, so I'm not going to reiterate them. But I wouldn't mind having like a pop top, because then I could still be compact. If I need to drive into a parking garage, I can. And then like if I'm out somewhere where I can stand up, or even just push the top up to get dressed in the morning. Because you know what I hate? I hate getting dressed in the morning. Because pulling up your pants when you can't stand fully up is a little bit awkward. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah. Good night, Judith. I'm glad you dropped in. Let me see if I missed something I want to respond to. Casey is crazy. ABC Minimalist is cool. I like her. Miss J is also awesome. I met her in person. She's such a sweet person. Like, she hugged me every time I saw her. I talked about larger van. I'm rooting for you, Mitz Adventures. I get antsy all the time, especially when I have to work close to the same area. I'm like, even though I have the van, like, you just want to go sometimes, and you're like, I can't have a job next week. Which is why I want to start getting jobs further away, but I realize I need to establish some more, like, local connections before I can do that. Yes, I'm taking questions. Throw questions at me. Elvis Travels. Ooh, I gotta check that one out. The End Game. I don't know what that is. A pop top on an HHR would be awesome. Yeah, there's like, I've noticed that because like the place that did Nate's van only does like the newest version of the Siennas, so they wouldn't put a pop top on mine anyway. They only do the third generation of the Sienna, which I think started in 2011. But their pop tops are nice, and like I like the point was made that I should probably do it with a newer vehicle, so I kind of agree. It took me a while because at first I was just like I was feeling that moment, and then like after I actually sat and thought about it, it's smarter for me to kind of like build up money to get something newer, something with a little less miles, because like I'm not unhappy, like I'm fine. So I could give myself a gift down the line as opposed to, you know, putting on a pop top to something that, you know, it may only last me a couple of years and then it'll be time for a new rig anyway. Crystal's about to go back to the DMV. I saw that on one of her videos. Good night, Mitten62. And I'm jealous because I'm trying to get back to the East Coast just to see some people and connect with some people. So yeah. Elvis Travels can be a hot mess as long as he's not like, and he can be a guilty pleasure as long as he's not a guilt tripping pleasure. Good night, Mitts. Patrick's great. I've seen some Inventor Van Man's videos. I haven't subscribed to them. Just Incredible's awesome. Bye, Grammy. Have a good night. Who do you guys watch? Who should I be watching? Besides Gus, I know I have to watch Gus, and everybody has to watch Gus on the bus. What's it? I watched a video by I think he's called like Static Camper Van Man or something like that. I watched one of his videos yesterday and I really liked it because he works full time while living in his van, and he talked about how, you know, working full time and having that income while not, you know, having to pay rent, it allows him to have adventures that he wouldn't be able to have otherwise. Like if he had just like quit his full-time job and moved into the van, he wouldn't have had as much access as he has by keeping his full-time job and living in the van. And that's why I say everybody has to define their own van life. Like everybody wants sort of what was popular like a few years back. So you don't need self-defense classes. You just need a good bat and learn how to aim. Yeah, he is. Yeah, James, he does, which I also liked. I'm like Life Trip. Let me. I think that was one of the ones I meant to subscribe to. I am. That's only gonna be on my watch list. Like no. Yes, bear spray and a bat. I have seen Creativity RV. I like her. I have not subscribed to her. I will watch her videos when they come up. Crystal Vander's a fellow DMVer. I gotta give her props. And she's like I have watched a lot of Crystal's videos when I was like in the car and trying to figure out how to like live. Like she was really great for getting started, and she started. Sorry, I have to type something real quick. And whatever, I'll find it later. But yeah, she was a lot of like my early videos, and she's cool. She was also really nice to me when I went out to RTR. I got like really like internalized and needed my personal space. So I ended up like sort of contracting in myself, and I felt bad, but I just went to like super introvert zone. I think I got overwhelmed by RTR at a certain point, and I went into super introvert zone, and I was just like taking it all in. Black Opal, I haven't seen all of Trusting Your Purposes videos. And honestly, a lot of people who were doing Veda, I couldn't keep up with them. Like, I cannot, it's hard. Like, even as much as I love Chrome, like, I sometimes skipped a couple of days of his videos because, like, I don't have dependable internet all the time. And so, like, a lot of people who were doing Veda and she's new, I was just reluctant to add her to more stuff I want to have time to watch and I don't have time to watch because of limited internet connections. I almost like people who post like a couple of times a month because they're easier to keep up with. And it's sometimes like, oh, surprise, they have a video. But Veda's good for like people who do like live in houses and they're living vicariously, so they have like a lot of like time and a constant internet connection. Oh wow, that's awesome. Oh, Pandemonium's great. She's an RVer, of course. But yeah. Black Opal I've interacted with online outside of her channel. She's a really cool person. I like her. I like that she also does her own thing. Like she's like somebody I feel very in line with, especially because she's an urban van dweller. She's used gig economy apps for work the way I did. So like I'm cool. Yeah, by the time I get a YouTube video uploaded on an upload day, I fought the internet for like 18 hours and I'm like done. Just to upload one 5-minute video. It's like I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'm not trying to watch anybody's videos. All right, so it's 8 o'clock and I do have to make a drive out to San Jose, and I'm still in Berkeley and I'm losing the sun anyway. And as we know, lighting in this front seat will be horrible once I lose lighting provided by the universe. So I think I'm going to log off now. I thank all you guys for showing up. I'm glad it worked out this time, even though it took 2 tries to get this functioning. So everybody have a good night. If you're on the road, safe travels. If you're not on the road, sweet dreams. If you're planning to get on the road, do you? And I just want to say to everybody, like, no two van lives are the same. So don't be afraid to, like, do something different than everybody else. And it was fun getting to talk to everybody. So peace out, guys. Have a lovely night.